Good evening, fight fans, and we are back, baby. Welcome to 2026. Headkicks and Haymakers is back better than ever. Our first episode of the year. It's been a week, Bobby, since we were on air. We skipped last week due to Christmas. We put off our normal Wednesday show to have a special Friday night Dress to Impress 2025 award show. The final year of ESPN deal, the final year of a lot of different things, and we are ready to kick off 2026. But before we do that, we're going to look back today on the year that was 2025 in the world of MMA. A lot of new champs were crowned. And before we get into the awards, Bobby, what champ of 2000, or what's the storyline coming out of 2025? Should I say?
I mean, it's really hard to say, especially when you compact the entire year. If I think the storyline coming out of 2026 is just more going to be what are we going to see different from the Paramount era? I know it's only been 2 days, but they pretty much have put a lot of the UFC catalog onto Paramount Plus and stuff. A lot more user friendly than ESPN Plus, I would say. But as far as one specific moment that would define everything, it's really hard for me to throw that out there and not tipping some of my awards and picks. So do you want me to do that or just keep it to the pocket?
Whatever you want to do. I think to me, the storyline is leaving ESPN, going to Paramount. And I think just the overall of who's the next stars? We saw some stars continue to get built. Some stars maybe kind of fade away in 2025. I think that we're also in an era of where I don't think we're going to see long-standing champs for too much longer. I think the era of where we're seeing they want they want a champion to stay in their division, and if you're going to go up, you're going to have to relinquish the belt. So the UFC wants to. I think we're getting out of the quote unquote double champ status where you can be a division holder in 2 weight classes.
Yeah, no, I mean those days died the second Islam vacated his title, because if they were going to allow one person to do it, it would have been him. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see that again. And I mean, even in rewatching the Islam JDM fight, John Anik says at the very end of it, because DC mentions that he's double champion, and then John Anik throws in his little, but he wasn't simultaneous like you, champ. So they're making a point that you can no longer do it. But I do think as divisions as a whole, we will probably see a lot more turnover. I mean, it's kind of wild to say that 170 is the most stacked division, and that is the one where I'm not sure if we will see any turnover in 26. But I'm really excited to find out. I mean, the reason I really like doing the show is because it gives us every time it's week to week talking about what happened this week, what happened last week, and it gives you time to kind of go back and really just remember a lot of it. Because I mean, I had fights that I thought happened last year that were at the start of the calendar. So I'm excited to get to it. That's for sure.
And speaking of champs, I'm just going to list off. Here's the champs 365 days ago. These guys were the champs. John Jones was the heavyweight champ. We know that he had to pretty much relinquish. He never got to fight Tom Aspinall, the fight that I want. We all wanted. We stood here almost a year ago saying, hey, that's the fight we have to see. We want to see, right? We know the saga that happened there. And we don't even know if Tom Aspinall is going to be able to fight in 2026 now. Very, very well could it. Alex Pereira was the light heavyweight champion, lost the light heavyweight champion, has now regained the light heavyweight championship in less than a calendar year. DDP was the middleweight champion. We saw him lose. We saw him. He defended it. Who did he defend it the first time?
Izzy and then Strickland.
Izzy was this year?
No, Izzy was last year. The only defense he had in this calendar was Strickland.
Okay, so he beat. Yeah, that's right, in February. Beat Strickland, loses to Khamzat Chimaev. It's great. The welterweight changed the hands twice in this calendar. Well, 3 times. I take that back. The champion a year ago in 2025 was Leon Edwards. Leon, no, he lost to Bilal, right?
Yeah, no, Bilal had the title by the end.
That's right. I don't know. Damn, ChatGPT fucked me up here on that one.
Never trust that AI.
Bilal was the champion. Loses to JDM. JDM loses to Islam. This is a lie too, because Ilya Topuria was the champion at featherweight, is no longer relinquished the championship, gave it to Volk, is now the champion again. Merab was the champion last year and fought 4 times last year and lost, we know, to Peter Yan. And now we know Alexander Pantoja was the champion at this time last year, defended it once, lost to Joshua Van. And in the women's, Juliana Pena was the champion, lost to Kayla Harrison. Valentina defended the belt twice. Wei Li defended the belt, gave it up, lost to Valentina. So, I mean, we've seen some hands change here over the course of the year. And, so we'll get into it. I mean, really, and then we're seeing Joshua Van, like I said, we'll get in what category we can start with. I got the banners here real quick.
Well, real quick side note that you said with all that.
Yeah.
I love that you said that Ilya Topuria gave his title to Volkanovski.
I mean, he did.
I know you
he
didn't
relinquished
it that way, but then, that's well worded. I don't know if that was intentional. Well done, but that got me good.
I mean, not much here is intentional. You know that. So let's start out. I got. I meant you reminded me of a category I wanted to do when you mentioned the welterweight. So I'll just start there. And I don't know if you have it because I don't know if it was on our list and I didn't write it down. But the event of the year. Do you have your event? Do you have an event of the year?
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
okay.
It's technically 2.
Go ahead.
So, like, card as a whole, and I'm definitely kind of pointing out more of how like the main cards of the pay-per-views were built. But for me personally, it was UFC 322, Madison Square Garden. I mean, you had Leon Edwards fighting Pratis on there. You had Brady fighting Morales. And then, champ versus champ, co-main for Valentina Wei Li. And, the undercard was built very well, the same. But I kind of had it 50-50 with UFC 317 too, because like that was equally jam-packed and just entertaining the entire time.
It was 317 International Fight Week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I actually had the MSG card as my card of the year. For the simple matter of the fact is, I thought it was like a changing of the tide. You know what I mean? Like we were getting some of that old guard out of the welterweight, and we were seeing some young, bright superstars shine. Obviously we saw Islam win the belt against JDM in that as well. So you get the double champ status. But to me, it's just more about seeing the next generation, seeing Morales, seeing Carlos Prates. What about a year? I mean, speaking of Carlos Prates, right? Like he was hot. Then he loses to Ian Gary in April, but that seems so long ago because he's won 2 fights since. And, people are clamoring that maybe he should be, next in line for the title. But you just saw so much of the changing of the guard and this young superstars in that card that I thought this card builds the gap for the future. We're going to look back on this card and say this is where some of these young guys had some bright shining moments and some future stars. So what up, Kev? Happy New Year.
My man.
Hopefully you had a great holidays, Kev. Hopefully you had a great Christmas and New Year's. Kev, if you want, put your comments in there. Let us know your winners as well in the comment section for our award season. What up, Rob? Happy New Year's as well to you. So it is award season. So if you guys got your award winners for the awards, put them in the comments. We'll flash them up. All right, let's get into the next one. Bobby, I got breakout fighter of the year.
This one going to me or you?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You always go you first.
Yeah, I don't like. I almost feel like this is a cop-out answer at this point. This is probably the most like telegraphed answer that I'll have all night. But at the same time, it's also very close. Like I got another 50-50 one. But definitively, I really, with the performances he's had, the quick turnaround, I don't know if it's even still considered breakout because he broke out last year. But Joshua Van, to me, is
that's exactly who I had too. Is Joshua Van. I thought same reason. Like he was under. This guy wasn't ranked. He wasn't ranked at this time last year, and is now a UFC champion. So to me, like he doesn't get any more broken out than that, right? Like from unranked to superstar to fighting for the title. Yeah.
And like even if the Pantoja fight didn't happen in this calendar, I probably would have still given it to him because he went from being unranked to definitive number one. So it the other one I wanted to give it to was Milky Costa because he's also been on hell of a tear. So I definitely want to give him his flowers as well. But there's a very good chance he could still get some later.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do like the Milky. I think Wellmaker kind of broke out a little bit through the year. If he had won his last fight, I know he took it on kind of short notice and everything else, but I thought him. I thought Rebecca and Orabal mainly, not Rebecca, but Orabal had some nice fights and kind of broke through as well. I kind of honorable mentions. I
just hope he stays at 170. Like, forget 55, stay at 170.
Yeah. Ooh, Kev says Chris Duncan might be his breakout fighter of the year.
Yeah, so, I can see that. He's also been on a tear.
Yeah. Hold on. I was gonna go to something.
Exactly like you said. Turned into a real contender out of nothing. Now they're putting him on, the main card of fights. So got him out of the hellish apex.
I mean, Waldo Costa, Waldo. Honorable mention to Waldo.
Yeah, I mean, Waldo probably would have gotten it if it wasn't for Joshua Van. I almost wanted to, I also didn't have the heart to give him KO of the year because the KO technically should not have happened. But he had some crazy up and down moments, and especially when he dropped the fight in China, you thought that was just going to be all she wrote.
Right.
And he's already back into contender status. He's kicking us off in the Paramount era. And I think the UFC would acknowledge that he broke out because, they're looking to use him wherever they can. That fight with him and Derek Lewis is probably I don't get too excited for heavyweight fights when you got the rest of those fights on the card, but I just don't see how that's going to disappoint.
Yeah, so honorable mention. I think we're in agreement. It's Joshua Van, but a couple good honorable mentions there on the breakout fighter as well. Let's get into most improved.
You know, I went back on this one a couple different ways. At first, I was really inclined to give it to Bo Nickel
Ooh,
after
okay.
coming off the RDR loss. And, he definitely had a good performance. I mean, getting the knockout in the end was kind of the cherry on top. So I was leaning that way. But then just kind of going back on the prospect side, I remember when Peyton Talbot originally came into the UFC and everyone was really excited what this kid could do. And then he had one performance where he kind of just got controlled and lost, and everything just seemed to kind of vanish. Some people are still talking about him and stuff, but, the UFC kind of still kept him on the main cards and stuff like that. So they still believed in him. But those two fights that he had, I just saw so much improvements for the grappling compared to the fight that he got dominated, to the point where I almost think like he might have been injured and didn't acknowledge it. But after beating Cejudo pretty definitively, might I add, that's why I just kind of gave him most improved, because whether Henry is old in the tooth or not, that is a very quality win. And especially being able to get Henry's own trip takedown on him, I had to give it to Peyton Talbot.
Yeah, I actually I liked Peyton Talbot, and I actually originally had him. So just to be different, or maybe just to even give an honorable mention, I'm gonna go Benoit Saint Denis. After the loss to Moicano, people were writing him off, right? Like we kind of was like, maybe he's not who he is. And then this year alone, 3 massive wins, 2 by subs. A one against Marcio Rufy. At that point in time, Rufy's stock was about as high as it could be, and he subs Rufy, and then the knockout of Dariush just back in November as well at that MSG card. So like to me, it's like, and he did it so fast, like Benoit Saint Denis has improved from what he's back, maybe even better than what we initially had him. I did agree. I actually initially had Peyton Talbot, but since you said Peyton Talbot, I didn't want to just go right back. But I also wanted to get out Benoit Saint Denis for the year he had.
Yeah, no, I love the BSD call. Really agree with that, especially because it also made me think of an honorable mention for a fight night. That UFC Paris, like those two events back to back, they could have played that any better. The way the crowd played and everything, and
why why do they kill it in every sport, every like wrestling and fucking in UFC, like the French crowd, like kudos to them in every fucking sporting event that we are holding over there, because I mean they're fucking pristine.
Yeah, I mean, I hate international football, but I really wish the NFL would go to France, because I would just be curious, like what that would sound like. And yeah, I mean, Benoit Saint Denis always reminded me of a guy that really, this is really almost, even though it doesn't feel like that long, we're really dating back, because like at the time, Islam was at the top of that division.
Yeah,
but we thought at that time he could absolutely be a champion, and he fell short against Poirier there, and then he had even more struggles with Moicano. It baffled me that he like did not have a real coach like during those fights, apparently. So I think that's a great call for him for most improved. Like he might even deserve it a little bit more in Talbot.
Yeah, no, I think the Talbot call was spot on though, as well. I mean, like you said, like a year ago from like a 12-month standpoint, right? From even less than 12 months, because in January, like, oh shit, this kid can't fucking wrestle. Like he's getting ragdoll out here. And then like like you said, I don't care if how old Henry Cejudo is, he's still an Olympic gold wrestler. And Talbot took him down. You know what I mean? So like I don't care how good, how old he is.
And now we want to see Talbot against ranked opposition, where we were not asking for that 2 fights ago at all.
Yeah, agreed. So like I like that shout. So shout out both Peyton Talbot and BSD. We'll do let's do comeback performance, and then we'll do comeback fighter.
Didn't we already do comeback fighter?
No, we did breakout fighter.
Oh, okay. Word. I have a feeling we're going to be the same on this one, but at the same time, maybe not, because it might still be a little sore for you. But goddamn, I just watched this before we started again, and Khalil Roundtree was beating the fuck out of Yuri Prochazka. Like I don't know if he could not figure out the timing. He was just hitting. He was being able to make the fight very clean. Won the first 2 rounds, was like a minus 750 going into the 3rd round, and Yuri just made it an ugly dog fight and finished him. It was and originally when I told you I wanted to kind of separate the comeback performance with the comeback fighter, because I feel like they're 2 different things, and they very well are. But when you look at Yuri specifically, I think there's an argument to literally give him both those categories, because people forget this is the guy that when Alex beat him the 2nd time, everyone was just out on him, and they just kind of forgot who he was. So definitely for comeback performance, I really didn't have, there are a lot of other options for sure. Some were not in the UFC, but I had to undoubtedly give that to Yuri. And that literally could be a fight of the year candidate as well.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. That's that was my comeback performance as Yuri. I think a lot and we'll talk about this later in some of my picks, is a lot of mine has to do with the stakes were high, and this was a high stakes fight. This is a fight, a #1 type contender fight, and Roundtree was just piecing him up through 2 rounds, and then for whatever reason, Yuri fucking figures it out, and like he always does outside of Alex, right? And just absolutely wins the fight, in a wild fashion, only the way he can, and put him down. That's the thing. Just absolutely put Roundtree down. So I'm right there with you. My comeback performance as well is Yuri Prochazka against Khalil Roundtree. Let's get into the comeback fighter of the year.
I can take this one in a few different ways, but you kind of led with it earlier. You were actually at this event when Ian Gary beat Carlos Pratas.
Yeah.
And aspirations were really high then. And I thought it would be a long road back, but he got the win against Jeff Neal. And then more importantly, on the biggest card, the card of the year that we gave on MSG, he KO'd Leon Edwards, which nobody had done. And, it was Leon was seeing God. He was unconscious. It wasn't like one of those fights where it ended in KO because of that or something. And though I really do not think he should be next for the title, he's absolutely in the conversation, and he's right back up there against, those top 5 names of killers. So with where I went back and forth with Carlos, that's kind of why I gave it to him, because I was so out on him after the Ian loss. And he really – I thought he was shouting out. Did you say shout out Mo Usman?
No, he's saying shout out Usman as far as –
Yeah, that's a great shout, Kev. If I didn't have Apex Brain, that would that's a really good one. At the same time, I might say you're campaigning to get Usman a title shot, but I know you're not. You're one of the good ones, Kev.
He says before I give mine, he says comeback fighter of the year, definitely Peter Yan. I don't, not a bad shout either, Kev. I like it.
And I kind of felt stupid not writing that name down when I put Carlos down there. But I think the only reason I didn't is because I was never really like out on Jan like that. But yeah, it's really hard to dispute that Jan isn't comeback fighter of the year and a couple other categories. Because, I mean, what a masterclass.
So I thought outside of the box for this one, Bobby, and I'd be remiss if the comeback fighter of the year is not Ben Askren.
Yeah, I wanted to do it too, but this is how long we've been doing the show together. I had a feeling you'd do it, so I saved it. But
it has to be Ben Askren. You come back from death. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's walking. He's wrestling. He's doing all the things that nobody ever thought, 6 months ago that he would do. He was literally on his deathbed in severe disease and dying, due to staph infection. So yeah, my comeback fighter of the year shout is got to be Ben Askren. Also, I'm going to shout out honorable mention Alex Volkanovski, right?
Yeah, no, Volk definitely has to. I mean, coming back from that scenario twice,
yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Get knocked out twice, and now you're the champ again.
Yeah, I think the one thing I've learned, especially with this category for comeback fighter, is how short the sport can be with what we actually think is going to happen. Right. Something might be clear as day, and then 6 months down the line, we're talking about something completely different. So it's kind of what makes it, such an entertaining thing most of the times.
Yeah. But I wanted to shout out Volk for as well as comeback fighter of the year. But yeah, I think I like yours as well. But I think it's got to go to Ben Askren.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, no explanation needed on that. That's pretty clear cut there.
Yeah. We'll go at sub of the year, and then for some reason I didn't write it, but KO of the year. But I'll go with you, your sub of the year.
So this one, I really had too many choices. And it's kind of ironic that I had Kevin Holland on here twice, once for getting sub and once for subbing. Like,
oh shit.
The RDR fight at the beginning of the year at UFC 311, I could not believe that. When we broke down that fight, I said, hey, DeRitter might be able to win it by decision. I'd be shocked if he submitted Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
He submitted him. So, that was being in the first round. That was pretty shocking. But then there was Kevin Holland, Darcy, and Vicente Luque. Which was like, okay, that's pretty serious one. And then there's a list of champion ones. But then I veered a little bit out, and I kind of almost felt obligated to give this comeback performance of the year, but I knew it really wouldn't hit the same because many people weren't aware of it. But my sub of the year is Costello Van Steen's rear naked choking Johnny Walker at PFL Cape. He was losing that fight.
Johnny Eblin.
Oh, did I say Johnny Walker? I'm retarded. Yeah, Johnny Eblin.
I like it. Yeah, that could have been comeback of the year.
I really feel like it should have been, and I probably should have made it, especially knowing that you probably would have went with Yuri, so he wouldn't have got shunned. But you can't have a better definition of a comeback than that. But just him being able to get the submission right at the last moment was pretty shocking. And PFL that worked out for him because that
was probably upset of the year. I don't know. I know we didn't have a category, but that's probably got to be upset of the year, right?
If you were to go off odds, it would definitely be.
Yeah. We got Kev here says underrated shot from one Bakaru versus Andre. Craig here says Silva on Bryce. Yeah, that's that was a great one. So actually, Bobby, I'm gonna give you. I got to give you my KO of the year first, and then explain why I went with my sub of the year. My KO of the year is Ilya Taporia knocking out Charles Oliveira. So my sub of the year, because of that, and we stood here after that knockout, and he took the short notice fight pretty much against Gamrot, and he chokes out Gamrot in Brazil in the main event. I give my KO of the year partially due to the not coming back and getting knocked out to Charles Oliveira over Gamrot, extending his streak and record book of you in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I could say you could even give him comeback of the year. I mean, considering you literally wanted him to retire after Ilya KO'd him.
Yeah.
And then, just straight do Bronx. So I like that shout, and I completely understand the thinking.
A couple other big subs over the year. Marab subbing Sean O'Malley. Islam subbing Renato Moicano earlier in the year. Kayla Harrison finishing off, choking out Juliana Pena as well to get the bantamweight belt. So a couple nice.
Yeah, I literally, those were all the ones I had written down. I had DeRitter rear naked choking Holland at 311, Islam Garcine Moicano at 311. It doesn't get talked enough that was on 24 hours notice and that was done. You know, everyone look at when Khabib fought Ali Quinta. You know, he wasn't able to finish him in a round like that. So, and then Kayla Harrison, I mean, Juliana Pena, I don't know if her arm broke, but I mean, all of those were very good submissions.
Yeah. Who is your KO of the year?
Well, I got a lot on this list. So since you already tipped yours, I can kind of go off the thinking. We got a lot of names, man. I mean, RoboCop, we thought he killed Jack Hermanson.
Yeah.
That one was brutal. I'm going to have absolutely no pushback with Ilya Charles. I get that. Carlos Prates KOing Leon Edwards was pretty wild to see. Reyes getting the KO at UFC 314, just stepping into it. That was great. And Rufy's roundhouse kick on King Green, that was another wild one.
Yeah.
But for importance and like what it means to like the division going forward, I had to go with Nasruddin Imavov knocking out Izzy at UFC Saudi.
Woo! Okay. I like that. Like I said, I gave you mine was Ilya knocking out Charles. Couple other big knockouts: Lerone Murphy, the spinning back elbow, and Aaron Pico. Our guy Costa just 2 weeks ago, the brutal head kick, and we got an event tonight called the the head kick KO, which that could very well be as well. So yeah, this was also it felt like the year of spinning back elbows. So we saw quite a few in 2025.
A lot of spinning shit, like Nick Diaz would say.
Yeah. Let me get into the next event here. We got 4 more categories, Bobby. We'll go to Fight of the Year.
This is another one that was very difficult. I had a bad list of names down. I mean, my fight of the year is probably obvious, but just to explain the math here, I thought Yuri versus Jamal Hill had fight of the year contendership all over it. just brutal. You know, in that was at UFC 311.
Yep.
Marab versus Umar, same card. I thought that easily could have been fight of the year.
Yeah.
Gaethje versus Fiziev, a worthy contender. Bilal JDM, a lot of people, JDM emphatically won that fight, but entertainment wise, I thought that was there. Have to give the nod to Yuri versus Roundtree as well, because that could definitely be a contender. But in the end, it doesn't matter if it's 5 rounds or if it's 3. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van, to me, that is the fight I have watched the most this year by far. And it just had everything you wanted, back and forth. There were stakes attached to it, with Van stepping up on short notice. And when I think back on 2025, that is going to be one of the memories, at the top of my mind.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. If people tell me that's fight of the year, it's probably the same with you. I probably watched that fight, multiple times. But I think sometimes like I said, I got to go where the stakes are higher. And Bobby, to me, the fight of the year is Hughes Nurmagomedov won in the PFL.
Was that still this year? I thought that was last year.
Was that not this year? That was this year.
I don't think so. No, the 2 was this year.
2 was this year. I thought the first one was this year. Was it late last year? I could be wrong.
Because that was my fight of the year last year.
Ah, shit. I'm
pretty sure. Unless I could be losing my mind.
I could be losing my mind. Now I gotta search. Now I gotta search it. If not, then
you're definitely talking about the first fight, not the second one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second one's good, but not as good as the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that was in the end of 24.
Maybe it was. Yeah, when was the event though?
I want to say
closely contested rematch. That was in Dubai. No, it was this year, January 25th, 2025.
It was. Jesus.
Yeah.
God, that is a long year.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't crazy.
I'm the idiot. Good choice. Yeah. I mean, full disclosure, if I remembered that was this year, it very well could have been mine. Because everything definitely delivered on that. He showed he belonged. I mean, in our mind, there really wasn't a doubt. But I would say that was definitely the biggest fight for the PFL that year, because they were able to build a whole nother event off that. And that's I got no problems with that whatsoever. And you heard the list of fights I listed off before. There were quite a bit of worthy contenders. So
you mentioned it, Yuri, Jamal Hill, Diego Lopez versus John Silva was for as long as it lasted, was a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a beat down a Zionist of the year category, it would have been that fight. But
Duncan versus,
I guess that was a fight back and forth for sure.
Yeah, Duncan versus Rebecki. Remember that fight? Any fight Rebecki's in, just fight of the year, fight of the night type candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it to him. Yeah, now I'm remembering. I gave Rebecki Oralby the fight of the year in the last year, not Paul Hughes. So yeah, I'm just losing my mind. So,
but that was mine. And like you said, the Umar versus Marab fight was an incredible fight. Was a very fun fight as well. That was fight of the year type. So,
and since you brought that up real quickly, to go back to the Moicano Darkstroke submission that Islam did, the fact that Islam saw his brother come up short and lose the fight.
What's cussing that, brothers?
No, well, I'm just no, they have no relation at all.
Oh, okay.
Like, they can sit, yeah, they might as well be brothers. But the fact that like there was no hesitation or anything, it was just like, okay, let's get it. And nothing was gonna deny him that victory. And it was weird watching, we know we never got the Ilya thing. The post fight, he did the whole, this is my belt, come get it. We obviously know what happened. I think it all kind of played out for the best, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just going off on a tangent now. Bring us back to reality.
Let's get into the female fighter of the year.
Oh, I don't think I have that on my call sheet. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. The way I look at it, you got one or two choices. Is it quality or quantity? I do think with it's hard not to just really give it to Valentina. I wanted to give it to Kayla Harrison just because I thought it was huge that she was able to come in and win the belt. And
make the weight.
Yeah, if that Nunes fight was in this calendar year, she would probably be the shoe-in over that. But a lot of people were figuring that Wei Li would just be able to kind of impose her will on her, and Valentina just shut all that shit down and said, nope, I'm still gonna be here. And I just I would hear other arguments for other people, but it's pretty, upfront with me that it should be Valentina.
Yeah, you're not going to get an argument out of me of anybody else. To me, it is Valentina. I think even if she didn't have the Mignot Ferro fight and the way she just absolutely dominated Wei Li, and it shows just how much respect I think we have for Wei Li, and like that fight wasn't even close. It was 5-0. It was a shutout. There's not even one possible moment where Wei Li looked like she was going to be good. So like I think you give it to Valentina. Kayla Harrison is right there as well. So if you want,
Cyborg is the other name I was toying around with.
Yeah.
And it's kind of always just going to be one of those things with her no longer being in the UFC. But, for a lot of that stuff, I don't think it makes a difference, especially if we're talking about like who is the best. But yeah, that was kind of like would have been my honorable mention.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess that she only had one fight. I was thinking she had two fights, but I was going to say Macy Barber, but it was right there. So, but she lost. I mean, you could give it out to Silva as well. She had a nice win over Alexa Grasso. Just not enough fights, really. Like that's the thing is some of these females, especially in the top, only fought once or twice. You know what I mean? And do you give it to Mackenzie Dern? She had a nice year, obviously winning the interim title, or I guess kind of winning out. She had 2 wins. She beat Amanda Hebus and then obviously beat Verna for the championship. So,
yeah, I'd have no problem with that. If Jazz Davicius didn't lose, she'd be probably another name because she was on a real tear as well. But, whether Dern got there because the title was vacated or not, she still won the belt. So she definitely at least deserves to be mentioned.
Yeah. And I think we'll get into the second to last category here. And it's none other than Fighter of the Year.
That threw me off for a second because you said second to last, but I get it now. This is the one I really wish you would be going first on.
You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Yeah, it might save me some talking.
Okay, I'm gonna go. To me, it's the year still of Marab, and I know you're probably gonna say Islam, but I look at the quality of opponents. If Islam had beaten Armin, and that's not his fault, right? I get that, but Moicano is not on the level of the top dudes that Marab beat. Marab beat the number one, number two contenders, and he beat them all outside of Peter Yan in a quick turnaround and couldn't do it the fourth time. But you still win three title fights and you win them convincingly. I just think to me, um, it's Marab. Like to go and beat Umar and what we just said was a fight of the year type candidate, submits O'Malley. Corey Sandhagen wasn't even. I won the first round, and then it was 4-0 the rest, and Rob almost got him out of there at one point. And you do lose to Peter Yan, I get it, but still 3-1 in trying to fight 4 title fights in 12 months is absolutely insane, and he could not do it get that last leg in, but because Islam just only fought twice, and I get it was JDM, and then, but it's really the Moicano is kind of the black stain for me. So that's why I went with Marab. But I'll let you make your case for Islam on why he should be fighter of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even. So yeah, I started the events from the top, mainly to rewatch Marab's reign and stuff. And hold on, let me answer.
He says, how many wins does Marab other guys with Kraken-esque campaign this year? I rest
That's I mean, that is a great point right there, because I mean that's a reference to like a crypto commercial that Money Moicano was a part of. But so I went back and I rewatched it in order, so I would kind of be able to summarize the year a little bit more. And the Umar fight, Umar won the first 2 rounds. Marab won the next 3. And but still in that fight, to the optics of it still kind of pissed me off, because to me it was 2-2 going into the 5th. Okay. But if you looked at Marab's body language, I mean, he thought he was just like up on all. He was, just, and I'm not like trying to hold it against him that he's like showboating and having fun in there. Like that's his style. But then when I pair that with, you say Moicano is the stain for Islam's case. To me, the stain for Marab, or part of the stain, is really that second O'Malley fight. I appreciate that he finished him. That's probably what he needed to do to go in there. But to me, the question is not, did Marab have too many fights, and that's why he wore down versus Peter Yan? I really wonder if Peter Yan fought Marab after that Umar fight, I think he would have got it done, man. Because everything you see on tape from Marab, like the Sandhagen loss especially, he was kind of like figuring out the game plan and stuff. And in total, like Marab lost 8 rounds. I technically gave Sandhagen 2, so you could say 9. But going off your math of him winning 1 and 4-0, so Marab lost 8 rounds, and in no point in any of those fights did any of his opponents look like they wanted to quit and give up, and like they did not want to. I mean,
O'Malley did give up. That's why he tapped out.
We're not talking about O'Malley, like specifically Sandhagen. He's in between the 4th and 5th round. And you're thinking Trevor Whitman has to talk all this confidence into him. He's like, I'm fine. This wrestling ain't shit. Like, let's get it. Granted, it did not work out for him and he did not win. But just look at JDM on that fucking stool for 25 minutes. Each round, a little bit of him died inside. And by that fifth round, they're trying to talk him into doing it. And, you know, he was responding to the corner, but he was just grimacing in pain. And, you know, I get the quantity over quality, but Islam did not lose a second
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
2025. And,
Yeah.
and to me, like, I don't even know if I have him as my fighter of the year. Like, this is me more going back and forth with the shoe-in case for Merab has I've always been kind of on the border of it. And then when you lose 5 rounds in a row, I just can't Men in Black that part out. Like, that is too much for
And
me
it was the
to
last thing that
really
you
give
saw.
him the that a boy you tried thing.
Yeah, and it was the last thing that we saw, right? Like, had that happened in January, and then he has the year. What if he loses like that in January, and then he finishes the year 3-0? You know what I mean? It's different story.
Yeah, and like, to that point, if he didn't take the fight, if that fight did not happen,
Right.
it would have been a much harder choice for me, because I would not have had, watching him lose for 25 minutes. So you think he should be rewarded for a little bit of that, but and it was neck and neck. I'm not trying to like really discredit Merab, but
No. I see. I'm not discrediting Islam. I get the case for Islam.
Yeah, I mean, in the case, to me, it was just the quality more than the quantity, because all my other guys that were candidates had 2 fights this year.
Yeah.
Not many of them had 3. There were some that were very active that really get no praise. We'll give them some praise in a little. But so yeah, it's a coin flip. But if you're asking me to choose, I would just have to say, and this is probably looking more future out, I just still don't know who is going to give Islam a challenge at 170. I know there'll be some very enticing fights, but I'll probably to me, the most enticing one is him versus Shavkat. But hell yeah, love the Joshua Van shout. And like, let me just address the elephant in the room. Like, if Joshua Van knocked out Pantoja, that easily there would not even be this monologue of me having to pick between Merab and Islam. It would emphatically be Joshua Van. But
honorable mention, Yuri Prohaska, right? The big win against Jamal Hill, and then turn around in the comeback win against Khalil.
Especially for me, because at that point I didn't know whatever to expect from Yuri, and turns out he can pretty much beat everyone. And I didn't think there would be a scenario to me to want to see another Pereira fight with Yuri, but he's made the best case for that. So definitely should be an honorable mention.
Yeah, Nasruddin Imanov, shout out to him on another 2 fights. But when you beat Izzy and Kyle Pajaro, the top of the middleweight,
oh no, hold on, you're underselling this a little bit. He knocked out Israel Adesanya, who has never been knocked out before, and then he was literally accused of ducking Kyle Pajaro for 6-7 months, and Imavov had to actually, he was just like, okay, enough's enough, I'll fight you. And he 50-45'd him in France. And, it just warms my heart that Kyle Pajaro is not getting a single award on this fucking show.
He could have been breakout fighter of the year, and we didn't mention him, but Fluffy Hernandez, the big win over Brendan Allen and Roman Dolidis. Unfortunately, we did not get to see the RDR fight. And speaking of RDR, had he not had the quitting of Brendan Allen, he very well could have been fighter of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
look at his fighter of the year. Not chokes out Kevin Holland, knocks out Bo Nickel, splits with Robert Whitaker, and unfortunately, he had the loss to Brendan Allen, which he pretty much kind of quit on the stool type thing. But other than that, like, he was right there.
Yeah, no.
You take away that Brendan Allen fight, you know what I mean?
Easily. And I mean, I could
you can make a case for breakout fighter of the year, right?
Well, I can also make a case to throw that fight out a lot more than I can the Merab Yan 2. Because like that to me was clearly he just seemed overworked and battling through shit, and it literally caused him to quit. To where I'm not sure if Merab's activity is why he lost that fight. I think it was just Piotr Yan's masterful game plan.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying.
And another reason I wanted to give DeRitter sub of the year, because I mean he was having such a great year. The UFC was booking him kind of oddly, like they didn't know what they had in him, and hopefully, did he get rebooked, DeRitter? Do you know?
Yeah, he's actually fighting Kaio in March.
You don't think I knew the answer to that one? I just wanted to hear it. Oh, that's a great birthday present for me.
I mean, he only had 2 fights, I guess, but they were both big wins. Ian Gary, unanimous decision over Carlos Prates and Bilal. Prates, he could have been, how many fights did he have this year? I mean, as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially if he didn't drop to Gary. I mean, his activity has been something else. And
he was booked twice, and the 2 fights got canceled, and they rebooked the Jeff Neal fight. But he lost to Ian Gary. Then he came back and knocked out Jeff Neal and Leon Edwards.
Yeah, and it's wild that loss was in April. I mean, that's why in the end I went with Prates for comeback, because I mean he just reinserted his name into that category.
Yeah.
And say what you will about Ian Gary, but he has definitely painted the best case to be at the top in title consideration, or fighting for the number 1 contender next. You could definitely give him an honorable mention because especially, I know this was last year, but he also had, the decision loss to Shavkat. And since then he has bounced back in full. So he definitely should get a shot. And, I kind of wanted a side note, like I wanted to give Fiziev comeback of the year.
Oh yeah.
Just like off the injury, like just with how he's moving and stuff. But I ended up going with Carlos there.
Yeah, I did. I like it. Good shout for Fiziev. So that pretty much sums up the award. Oh wait, we got one last final award. I almost forgot. Jesus. The most prestigious. We are at Headkicks and Haymakers Award. So while there is always a KO of the year, we would be remiss if we did not do Head Kick of the Year to the most prestigious award of the year in MMA. Head Kick of the Year. Bobby, who are you giving it to?
I mean, I have a feeling we're going to match on this, but we'll see. But hands down has to go to Milky Costa. Head kick KOing the last Pirate in the last Apex of the ESPN era. A fight that I thought we were going to get an interesting 15-minute scrap, and he just absolutely blanked him. So, that was going to be my KO of the year before, we made this category as well. So, it was that worthy, and I didn't. That's why I went back and rewatched so much in the beginning part of the year because I was just worried about having recency bias on that one. But that was a beautiful head kick.
I'm not. I can't disagree too much with that one, but I'm gonna give it to Marcio Rufi's head kick KO of Bobby Green.
I had that written down at the top of KOs of the year. So, I mean, and the only reason I did not give that one, it's nothing on Rufy. It's all the fucking cameraman. Like the angle of that KO, they switched at the last second of him getting blitzed. And yeah, I gotta find an alternative angle of that because definitely deserved.
Yeah, Julia, your old lady says you're looking sharp. I mean, she's probably picked you up in court in that same outfit, as you were, or maybe from playing a sleazy lawyer.
Yeah, it does have the Better Call Saul vibes. Yeah, she's probably wondering why I didn't dress up this nice when we went out.
Better call Bobby. Bobby, it's been a pleasure doing the show 2025. I can't wait to do more shows here this year in 2026. Next week, we'll do a 2026 preview show, kind of talk about our big predictions for the year. Some possible fighters. We'll kind of go down these categories a little bit and kind of pick ours, and then maybe some future champs as well. Next week we still got like 5 weeks to get into the official Paramount era as the pay-per-view will happen.
Well, I mean, on that note, the UFC just put a huge amount of their catalog on Paramount Plus. So if anyone needs to watch anything, if they want to watch something fresh, I would definitely recommend them going to Ryzen.tv to watch the last Ryzen event. That shit will not disappoint you, I promise. So if you're fiending for some fights, do that. I do want to say the one thing I really appreciated about doing this show and the prep for it is I'm a lot more excited for that first event, specifically Patty versus Gaethje. So we can get into more of that next week or whenever, but my negativity is kind of drummed out on that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Hey, that way, more positive Bobby in 2026. I like it.
Yeah. It's a good resolution.
Good resolution. More positivity, baby. That's what you need, Bobby. Stop being Trent and be Bobby.
Well, oh, poor Trent. He's having a day, isn't he?
Anyway, we'll be back. We'll be back at our normal time, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern on Wednesday. Other than that, Bobby's going to go get some sushi with his lovely lady. I'm going to, watch some TV because it's 9 o'clock here. But other than that, be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you some more in 2026 here in next week of our 2026 preview show on Wednesday night. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. See you then.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.